Welcome back, 9 to noon. And with the Bears, a showdown on Sunday. I was talking with you yesterday, PA, and it just kind of hits me. Just Soldier Field's freaking weird, man. And this year's incarnation of the Bears is weird. And just kind of thinking back to all of the nutty games that have taken place, specifically in Chicago. We've had a few of them back at the Dome/US Bank Stadium as well. But specifically at Soldier Field, so it was kind of a
Skull Stories
Soldier Field edition. And I wanted to start because there was a nasty stretch in the 2000s, PA, where the Vikings just couldn't, to save their lives, get a victory at Soldier Field. So it felt right based on how long you've called games. I wanted to start with 2007. Where the Vikings at Soldier Field, a rookie in Adrian Peterson's going off. He's got like 220 and 3 scores. And the Vikings are up 31-17 at one point until suddenly it's a tie game.
Reese shotgun, couple of receivers right and left. Takes the snap. He's back to pass. Bikes rush 4. He's going to go deep center of the field. That's no! Inside the 30! No! Touchdown! Devin Hester beats Dwight Smith, and the Bears are an extra point from tying the game.
How could you bite on a double move? How can you bite on a double move at this time of the game? Wow. Is that kid a weapon or what? Oh, my goodness.
I mean, and it was such a back and forth, and this was your first year calling games with Pete Bursich as well, I believe, 2007.
Yeah.
But you remember after that, it's 31-31. You guys are just absolutely gobsmacked, and then the rookie does this?
And here's the kick from Robbie Gould, right to left. Adrian Peterson, he takes it from his own 9 to the
Look out!
The 20.
There he goes! Oh, yes!
He gets by Robbie Gould and he's tackled at the 38 by Daniel Manning. Way to respond to Devin Hester, Adrian Peterson.
He hasn't changed.
Wow.
He did change. He just reverted.
Man, what a football game. Oh, it's like a heavyweight fight.
Oh, how about that on the kick return? And, of course, it sets up this with Mr. Longwell.
Here we go. The game's on the line. Ryan Longwell from 55. Left pass. Snap, good. Spot down. Kick. Distance is fine. Get in there. Yeah, we got it. He hit it. And Ryan Longwell defeated the Chicago Bears.
And it's 34-31 the final. Anything pop in your head about that nutty game?
Yeah, I'll never forget that game as long as I live. It's an absolute 3.5, 4 hour professional highlight of my radio career because of Pete. It was his first year as analyst for the Vikings radio network. He's from Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
He grew up a Bears fan. And the same spot from which we will call the game this weekend, well, not the same spot. It's we're on the other 30, but it's the same vantage point with fans. And I mean, they're right in front of us. And fans have changed a lot over the years, but this is a level where we kind of see the same people year after year with the season ticket holders at Soldier Field.
Kind of like US Bank in front of you guys as well. There's
Big
a fair
time.
number of familiar faces.
Yeah, but I mean, these fans in this spot can stand on their chairs and reach into the booth. That's how close they are.
Watch out for your binoculars.
So because of that, it is just an energy, adrenaline burst that's second to none. I mean, it's because when things go well with the road team, I specifically, but boxes and analysts get loud. It's like Aaron Jones outside the numbers at the 30, cuts right to the 40, and he's loose at the 50. Well, the place gets quiet, as their defense starts to regress.
Yeah.
And everybody in the world can hear it. So now you're finishing a call as you see 1,000 heads whip around and look up at us. And it's during the call, and I'll never forget that day how emotional Pete was, his first game he's calling at Soldier Field, and how dramatic that game was, and how into it he was and how the fans just kept looking at us and flipping us off and being like, be quiet. It was, it got a little adversarial there for a minute. Not as bad as FedEx Field a couple of years ago when 4 members of the SWAT team were required to come into the box to get a couple of drunks away from us. But that was a professional memory, a professional highlight for me. Pete had a lot to do with it.
Skull Stories.
So the Vikings win in 07. They lose in 08, although they'd win a division and get, was that Westbrook? Was that the Westbrook,
in the playoffs?
Yeah.
At Philly?
Yeah, well, we hosted Philly. It was Tavares Jackson at home in 08, and I think Westbrook got us for some yards.
I was thinking 04 when they went to Philly, and all week. I mean, Mike Tice must have said 1,000 times at practice, "Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo?" That was Brian Westbrook, the "Where's Waldo" bit. No, that was well,
Asante Samuel with the pick six in the game in 08 as well. Right. Absolutely. But to 09, okay, it's Brett Favre. It's a season ultimately that would be magical. But late in the season, you head to Chicago and Soldier Field. You're down late, potentially going to lose the game, but you come up big on 4th down.
30-23 Chicago, 22 seconds to go.
I think it was a Monday
Vikings
night
with
game.
only 1 timeout remaining, and here we go. It's 4th and goal from the 6. Klein saucer right, Shanko tight end right, 2 receivers to the left. Chester Taylor to the left of Brett Favre, who takes the snap. Back to pass, loops into the end zone. Caught! Sidney Rice, touchdown! Yes! Sidney Rice caught a touchdown! And the Vikings are only down by 1!
How about that? Tying
lost
it
my
up.
mind.
And well, Pete, for the final 2 minutes, I think we had missed. Longwell may have had an extra point blocked. So instead of going for the win, you're tying it at that stage in the game. And Pete's like, you have to get Sidney lined up with an advantage over a linebacker. It happens. Pete loses his mind, the whole thing. It goes to overtime, chance to win it. Adrian gets loose, and then the ball gets loose.
It's 2nd and 10 from the 17. Dugan wide left. Sidney Rice to the right. I formation behind Brett Favre. And Favre goes back to pass. Swing right flat. Caught Adrian at the 15. Speeds to the 20. Turns the corner at the 25. He's taken down at the 30. He fumbled. And the Bears have recovered the ball. Adrian Peterson's 7th fumble this year. Unofficially, the 6th he's lost, has given the Bears the ball at the 38-yard line. That's the call right now.
So it was reviewed. There was this extended pause. And the very first freaking play, PA.
Postseason heading into the final week of play. 30-30 overtime, 9:21 to go in the game. I formation behind Jay Cutler from the Vikings 39. And Cutler goes back to pass. It's a fade right. Man wide open top game. Devin Aroma-Shadu touchdown. That's it. We lose. 36-30. Bears win. This is Minnesota Vikings football.
I was done.
Remember that night? No, it was
That's
over.
if we lose this Vikings fan. Is this a network or a local? Is it for No Libre? Okay, yeah.
How quickly did it take you to start going like this with the papers?
Yeah, but I was pissed off at Adrian Peterson, man, and I've said this before that the only time that I got into an argument with Brad Childress on an X's and O's show was about that play.
Yeah, and
it just I thought discretion was not the better part of valor there, but when they say. You just can't. These guys aren't machines. I mean, they're trained to get and take every single thing they possibly can get. I understand that, but I mean, 6 lost fumbles at that stage, and like I said during that interview on the coach's show back then, up to the final game of the year as well. Hopefully, it's not a harbinger. All right. Well, I mean, they turned it over 5 times in the NFC title game.
Yeah.
So that was a problem with Adrian, which in no way offsets the HOF unbelievable moments he provided. But Aroma-Shadu put that double move on the greatest corner in the history of Minnesota Vikings football, Antoine Winfield. So that led us to be flabbergasted. And these games at Soldier Field, man, I mean, you can hear the crowd, how close it is to us.
So cool.
It's those, I'll just never forget the Soldier Boy bit with Devin Hester. And Heath Farwell is the special teams coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And when I saw him with Lieber and Bursich pregame before the Jags game a couple of weeks ago, all we talked about for about 5 minutes was Devin Hester.
And the Soulja Boy aura?
Soulja Boy, uncalled, how superstars don't have to be running backs, full-time wide receivers, defensive ends who can push the envelope, and Clete Blakeman and Bernie Kukar and so on. They're going to give you the benefit of the doubt because you've earned it.
Yeah.
Well, Hester was that on punt returns because, Heath Farwell was fouled so many times on this punt coverage bit, and they never threw the flags, and there goes Devin.
And how about, just all the time, and you could even hear it as I had to grind through a full CD broadcast to get a couple of these highlights. And I'm just listening. Well, Cluey's up and he's going to kick it out of bounds.
Yeah.
And that's what teams were forced to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's just guys who change games and guys that force other teams to do incredibly self-defeating things because of what potentially was worse, that being him getting loose.
I think the only time in my life I've heard Greg Coleman curse, the former sideline analyst for the Vikings radio network. I might have heard Greg say one cuss word in all the years that I've known and or worked with him. The only time was when we went to break after a Hester punt return touchdown, and him saying what he said about not kicking the ball out of bounds. So that's just how charged and emotional these Soldier Field games can be.
Skull Stories.
So that was 2009. That was tough, and it was part of a tough stretch at Soldier Field, PA. 2010 was diseased with the second year of Brett Favre. 2011 in a 3-win season, just got your butts kicked. 2012, albeit MVP season for Adrian in a playoff appearance, 4 straight wins to end the season. They come out of a bye, take a 28-10 L. But everyone's fresh. It's 2013. You lose to the Kitties week 1. You're at Soldier Field. You kicked 3 field goals in the red zone, PA, to take a 30-24 lead.
You're bringing up so many memories, man. It just makes me smile.
And all you had to do was just get a defensive stop to end this thing with a victory, but you didn't.
Jay Cutler has it 3rd and 10 from the Vikings 16. It's nervous time at Soldier Field as the rain begins to fall. We hope the purple rain continues. 2 receivers right, Bennett to the left, Cutler out of the shotgun.
Michael Bennett, wow.
Has Bennett and Forte in the backfield. Now Bennett goes slot left.
Yeah, Martellus.
On 3rd down, it's 3rd and 16. Henderson cheats to the line of scrimmage for the Vikings, so does Greenway. They back off. Cutler takes the snap, floats left, fires to the end zone. Caught Martellus Bennett. Touchdown. No!
Now, off the backside, the back shoulder of Chris Cook. Chris Cook is off, and he's covering.
So
Chris Cook.
And you want to talk about harbingers. How about the start of that season? You lose a weird one by 10 to the Lions. You lose in the final seconds to Martellus Bennett. You heard that. Do you remember, I think it was Jordan Cameron the next week, Cleveland Browns at the Dome.
Oh, yeah.
You lose in the final 20 seconds in that game.
Norv Turner was their offensive coordinator and got us on 2 gotchas.
There you go.
And they faked a punt or a kick, or they faked a punt. And I think they got a touchdown on it.
And so you lose later in the season. Remember Baltimore and the 40-some points that were scored in the 4th quarter. You lose in the final seconds.
Wow.
Flacco to Marlon Brown maybe or somebody.
It was a tight end, but it wasn't Heap.
I don't remember,
Yeah.
but just the way this
Might have
team
been Marlon
lost in 2013, but that one to Martellus Bennett just stung, dude. 3 field goals in the freaking red zone leading up to that drive.
What year was that?
That was 2013.
Consider this. I think, oh, wow. Mercedes Lewis may have been a rookie that year, and he's going to play this weekend. He came in the league right around that time.
Mercedes?
Yeah, Mercedes. What year was it?
2013.
Oh, 13.
I bet he was
Mercedes
already
came in
the league.
05. Yeah, my fault. Okay.
Something insane, right? 19 years?
Yeah, I was tripping right there.
But Martellus for sure. So that was part of a losing stretch.
I was going to draw a comparison because Mercedes never catches it, neither did Martellus.
Now, I don't have a highlight for it, but I'm gonna pause because there are some winning things that have happened at Soldier Field in more recent years that I'll share around the corner. Mm-hmm. Do you remember Zimmer's first season, Teddy's rookie season at Soldier Field? You're driving down 2013 to tie the game, and the freaking game clock went off in the stadium.
Oh, that's right.
And
multiple times.
And Teddy was hurried up, and I think he either threw just a bad deep ball incompletion or a bad interception ultimately to end the game.
Yeah.
But it's final minute. You're rushing up. You have no idea what the game clock looks like. You have no idea what the actual game clock is, and it was a complete disaster, and Zimmer provided some post-game classics after that one at Soldier Field in 2014.
The anti-Vike is not omnipresent.
No.
That spirit is not worldwide. But it's located at Soldier Field, or at least it was that weekend, because so many anti-Vike related things went against the Purple that game that you just can't fathom, like clock stopping and all right, get up to the line. Oh, wait, hold on again. It just became discombobulated. Yeah, I don't have a lot of detail from that game, but I remember that moment.
That's all good.
Nordo put together some Soldier Field skull stories. We enjoy doing this every so often. And like Eric said, well, there's another side of the coin where some things have gone well for the Minnesota Vikings of late at Soldier Field, slaying the hated anti-Vike, which they should do again this weekend. And we'll get into that when we return to KFAN.
Skull Stories.
Down memory lane we go.
Yes, indeed. Vikings at Bears this Sunday. Last segment and this segment, just kind of sharing some skull stories of the up and down, the epitome of roller coaster.
Can't wait for this 3-game roadie to be over with and get 3 in a row at home. More time to see the con.
Dude, you're going to be chilling. You're going to have hot tub takes for a month after Sunday.
I ain't trying to get into the preposterous statement tournament, but like days you fly to go work a job, that's like a job too.
It is, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just been a lot in a row, man. Holy cow. This 3 in a row on the road, it's aggressive.
Well, hopefully the Vikings can make it 5 in a row at Soldier Field. As we left off last segment, 2014, game clock goes out at Soldier Field. Whole thing sucks, and the Vikings lose.
I think we might kill them this weekend. I'm sorry.
No, I hope you're correct in that regard, and I'm looking forward to it. I was looking forward to seeing Stephon Diggs in his rookie season 2015, and we had to wait until week 4 at Mile High.
Yeah.
And he was making Aqib Talib look dumb, and everything was good until Adrian Peterson missed a block on TJ Ward and Teddy Bridgewater. That was one of 2 strip sacks to end games. There was one later on a Thursday night at Arizona as well.
Uncle Bernie's listening right now, Bernie Kukar.
Oh, yeah.
And he heard earlier when I'm like, hey, superstars get calls. You know, even if you're a punt returner, it's like whether you're Cleet Blakeman or Jerry Seaman or Bernie Kukar, you know. Hey, Paul, easy on those officials. They're sensitive guys. Bernie, I love you. Bernie Kukar, I love you.
Well, we were sensitive to the Minnesota Vikings beating the Bears in 2015.
The best.
And this was a tied game at 20 as Teddy Bridgewater found that rookie Stephon Diggs for a big play.
Bridgewater with Rudolph and Ossie out in the backfield, out of the shotgun. On 3rd down, takes the snap. Teddy looks left, fires, caught! Stephon Diggs, and he spins to the 30, 20, 15, 10, and touchdown! Stephon Diggs! Way to steal the show, Stephon! It's a 40-yard touchdown, and the Vikings are an extra point from tying the game.
I don't know why the audio was a little hollow there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like in the 07 and 09, it was John Facenda calling Vikings football.
But that ties it at 20, and we're in the 4th quarter. The Bears punt. And I don't know, you remember Charles Johnson?
Oh, yeah.
And there was kind of some hope, and I forget, was it Grand Valley State, potentially?
I believe it was.
And he caught this big 35-yard catch. And the reason all of this is important, PA, is we went through things. We started with that win in 07. The Vikings hadn't won there since 07.
Jeez.
And for the first time since nearly a decade, it's Blair Walsh for a W.
And now Blair Walsh from 36 yards, left hash to win the game. Snap good, spot down, Walsh's kick is up, and it is good! Goodbye, Chicago! The Vikings win!
For the first time, from 2007 to 2015, the Vikings are victorious. They go on. Adrian leads the league in rushing that year. There's a different kind of kick. That was part of 2 walk-offs in a row. Zimmer giving St. Louis the ball to start overtime so he could pick the side of the field with all the wind.
It was a brilliant decision.
Was it LaMarcus Joyner that knocked out Teddy and he went after Zimmer went after Jeff Fisher after the game or something like that?
Greg Williams. Yeah, Zimmer ran out on the field looking for defensive coordinator Greg Williams. Speaking of the anti-Vike, having tentacles with these little G's, and he wanted to fight him on the field.
So the Vikings are victorious in 2015. First time since 2007. We needed those victories at Soldier Field. 2016, it was a 20-10 loss in prime time. It was Jordan Howard.
Oh, no!
Jordan Howard.
Oh, no!
Jordan Howard.
Oh, no! That's what that's from?
Yeah, and Uncle Norv. Yeah, it was like a 60-yard run.
Yeah.
Uncle Norv, I don't believe, stuck around much longer following that game, did he?
No, it's one of the saddest things with which I've dealt as a friend. With Norv Turner and I, we still stay in contact. And we still FaceTime and stuff like that. If he's watching one of our games, he'll FaceTime when we go to break, just talk about things.
And we've done several Covenant catch-ups with him since then. He's been great.
I love Norv. I love his son, Scott, and Scott's wife, Robin. And, in fact, last year when we were in Vegas, went off the beaten path to visit Scott, Robin, and their kids. And when Norv quit, I mean, that broke my heart, man. It just broke my heart on many, many levels, until like Norv was so pissed off and the Westons or whatever by Southdale. They're like these Gucci,
those condo bits,
bougie condo bits. Norv was so mad and wanted to get out so quickly. He said, I'm going to give you 30 minutes to get over here, and if you have a truck, bring it. Because you can walk up into this apartment, this condo, and whatever does not have paper on it, you can just take. So if you come to my house, you'll see a long black coat that I occasionally wear when it's super cold, a couple of old school Vikings coaching sweaters, 2 pictures, 2 rugs. I mean, hey, I'm not so proud that if there are cool things that are made available free, that I'm not going to change something and roll over there and get it.
Well, and the cool thing is when Norv comes over to your house, he feels at home. So much of the decor he has previously owned.
Yeah, he asked for one thing back, and I said, I don't know where it is, Norv. I'm probably in the garage somewhere.
So you lose in 2016. You bounce back. 2017, magical season that it was. There was a miracle involved. But you have Bradford week 1, then it goes to Case Keenum. If you remember, Bradford comes back, and it's a primetime game at Soldier Field.
Oh.
But he's sacked 4 times in the first half. He gives up the safety.
Yes.
Maybe a Leonard Floyd rookie seat. I don't remember who was doing it. But
he never should have played in the game.
But Keenum comes back. McKinnon with a 58-yard touchdown run. Forbath with the game winner. So we're loving ourselves again in 2017. You win 22-17. In 2018, though, it's Cousins. And I don't have a highlight for a couple of these, PA. 2 moments in the 2018 game at Soldier Field. Every one of these, it felt like for years, was in prime time. And that may have been Khalil Mack's rookie season. But do you remember Dalvin Cook's fumble? Where Khalil Mack, with one arm, just removes, and we love him, he just, with one arm, removes Kyle Rudolph from the entire run blocking equation, and with his other arm, just bare paws Dalvin and rips that ball out. One of the more impressive individual plays I've ever seen.
At that time, Khalil Mack was the best overall defensive player in the NFL, the most game-changing defensive player, and it wasn't close.
Yeah.
And Big Boy, along with Dalvin, they felt that pain.
And then this was early on in what may have turned out to be a tumultuous relationship, a year removed from a miracle. Remember the bootleg by Kirk, wide open in the end zone, Stephon Diggs, and he overthrew him by about 5 yards?
Oh, back right of the end zone.
Back right of the end zone.
I do remember that.
And that started a conversation of Thielen becoming maybe he's the guy, and the team ultimately we know.
And they run a lot, and they want to play defense. Right.
You end up losing in 2018.
Great memory by you.
In prime time. Then there was this cloudy, blustery, weird day at Soldier Field in 2019. Trubisky may have started the game, but was hurt super early. and we got Tariq Cohen and Chase Daniel.
Oh, geez.
We lost 16-6 to Chase Daniel and the Bears in 2019.
Tariq Cohen was an elite trick when he played.
He was. And then he was hurt every year.
Yeah, right. Runner, returner, catcher.
He did everything.
Super small, but super fast. Yeah. Tariq Cohen was cool, man.
But that was the last time the Vikings have lost at Soldier Field.
Uh-huh.
Now, it doesn't mean there haven't been weird plays and memories, including in 2020, Adam Thielen would have 2 TDs and the Vikings would win the game. But this guy, who used to be our guy, is now their guy, and he's going into the record books against his former team.
Dan Bailey is set to boom it away to Cordero Patterson, and boom! Second half of Monday Night Football is in the air. Here comes Cordero, 5 yards deep. He heads to the right side, zings by a Viking at the 30, gets to the 40, jukes right, and there goes Flash right into the record books. Touchdown Bears. That is the 8th kick return touchdown in the career of Cordero Patterson, tying Josh Cribbs and Leon Washington for a National Football League record, and Flash has run the Bears to the lead.
I mean, just talk about weird careers and tricks and all of that. Not at the level of Devin Hester and all those punt returns, but Cordero was sweet. Cordero was unbelievable. Norv, whether it's Norv not wanting to use him in certain ways, Cordero not being able to run a 10-yard route 10 yards, whatever led into it. I used to do, early on in his career, I got these, when I first started at the Fan, like some Puma appearance bit. So I'd show up at a Puma store at like MOA, and I'd stand there next to Cordero. So you got Fat Producer and Cordero, and he was so nice to fans, such kind of a sweetheart of a dude, but like just couldn't figure out how to use him. But that was for the Bears, by the way. But the Vikings win that game in 2020, 2021. This name is more of if you're a college football fan. He played for those guys south of the border, did nasty things against our favorite college team in college, and then he even caught a touchdown pass for our team.
Kirk goes out of the shotgun into the face of the Bears fans. Kirk takes the snap, fires, caught, touchdown! A touchdown back right of the end zone.
Finding the name.
For Emir
There it is.
Smith-Marsette.
Wow!
The first touchdown of his career, and the Minnesota Vikings have taken a 16-3 lead.
So that helped the 2021 victory. 2022, it was final week of the season. Za'Darius Smith didn't even make the road trip. Thielen with a touchdown early. It was over.
He made the road trip. He just flew in day of the game.
Oh, was that the bit? Yeah. Oh, okay.
And he didn't play.
Nathan Peterman, though. And then last year, how about Jordan Hicks?
Play action out of the shotgun. Harrison Phillips trying to give him his first sack. Josh Mattel is forced to fumble. It's bouncing about. Picked up by Jordan Hicks. 40, 30, and is loose. Touchdown! Jordan Hicks, with the second touchdown of his career, has run the Minnesota Vikings to an 18-6 lead.
So the last 2 years, it was Nathan Peterman, and then last season, you have the defensive touchdown from Jordan Hicks. It was Tyson Bagent having to finish that game after Justin Fields.
Took me half a quarter to figure out how to say his name. I'd never heard of him.
Yeah, I thought it was Tyler. Was it Tyson?
I kept calling him Bagent.
Yeah, Bagent. It feels like a Bagent.
Well, it wasn't. Seriously, how seriously can you take this guy? His name's not even on your pronunciation chart on your roster. We don't put practice squad guys. Okay, cool.
So
tell Mr. Bagent.
So that leads us to
Skull Stories.
The 2024 edition. I assume Brian Flores is taking Caleb Williams a lot more seriously than we should have or did take Tyson Bagent a year ago. Looking forward to making it 5 straight at Soldier Field.
Me too. When it comes to now the Lions, but Packers and or Bears, I mean, we could do those skull stories on those games for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, seriously, there are so
many bits,
many memories and bits, and the unique nature of the way some of them finish, and so on. So that was really, really cool. Skull stories from Soldier Field. Be right back.
Fan. I can't wait.
With pressure points provided by Sukup and SuKup.com when we get to them tomorrow. Just a little sneak peek as to what some of them are going to involve. One is going to involve Vikings kicker Parker Romo, another tackling, and we kind of touched on that earlier when handicapping the Vikings and Bears, boom at noon this Sunday on KFAN, and also pressure on the Indianapolis Colts, the LA Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers. So SueCup.com, thank you very much for aiding us with that. And Pressure Points will be part of a radio show tomorrow that starts with just a fantastic radio host from the Windy City. There's a show in Chicago called Waddle and Sylvie. Tom Waddle, a former Bears receiver. It's just very, very well done.
They've been going for a long time too, right?
Yep. Not sure how long. They play off each other incredibly well. It's a big market the fan has learned, and they're captivating. Mark Silverman is his name. In the business, he goes by Sylvie, and he's going to start the radio show tomorrow. Nacho Libre at 10 o'clock. Pressure points and some other tricks up our proverbial sleeves when we reconvene tomorrow at noon. Thank you very much for listening. Nordo produces, and I'm Paul Allen. Be safe today. Have a wonderful day. God bless. Dan Cole, the Common Man, is next, and thank you for listening to KFAN.
Keeping your head above water.
Yeah, but
Making a wave when you can.
Temporary layoff.
9 to noon.
Easy credit to rip off.
I know, right?
Scratching and
Time for two more.
Good time.
Good stuff.
The game is over. Ain't we lucky we got 'em.
If it's good news or money, leave a message.
Good time.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.